Hello, hello. Welcome to this quick episode. If you are watching through video, you are going to see me sitting in a literally empty office, almost empty. I have my carpet and my desk in here, but I am moving just up the hall to a different office. But I wanted to bring you this episode today talking about vulnerability hangover because we just coached on it during my mastermind. So, what is vulnerability hangover? What is it? Have you ever experienced it? So here's the definition I think. You can look it up if you want. But the way I experience it is after you do something scary, after you step outside of your comfort zone, after you follow through on something you said you were going to do in your business, in your life, as a public speaker, if you write a book, like all those things that I would say most people don't do, you will experience vulnerability hangover. It also has to do with like you putting yourself out there. So maybe you're learning how to show up new and different in relationships, right? You're learning to rip and repair those relationships. You're learning to come together and work on your communication with a loved one. That is what I did in the beginning of my life coaching journey. I hired a life coach to help me with my self worth, to help me with finding a partner that is secure and building a secure relationship. But I'll tell you, developing that intimacy, that emotional intimacy, made me feel really vulnerable. So let's talk about why we would want to embrace vulnerability hangover. I was just coaching my mastermind clients on this thought about going to your next level. And I want to refer back to episode 1 when I told you the story about my trapeze experience. So I signed up for a trapeze experience at the I would say at the influence of my husband. He had a coworker that teaches trapeze. And if you don't really know what trapeze is, it's the circus, right? So it's where you hang onto that little bar, you fly in the air, and somebody catches you with their hands. And then there's a net below you to catch you. However, what I wasn't expecting about the trapeze experience is that I would be fully viscerally feeling the fear in my body. Like my nervous system like almost shut me down. I couldn't hear words anymore because my limbic system, my nervous system was extremely activated from the fear. So the reason I bring this up is whatever it is that you want, if you want a healthier physical body, if you want a better, more intimate, close relationship, if you want to build dynamic friendships, if you want to build a community for your business, if you want to launch something into the world, whether it's a book or a podcast or a course, if you want to sell any of your things, at each phase, it is going to require you putting yourself out there in an imperfect way, feeling vulnerable, feeling exposed. And the way the body feels is it feels like you could die. So I bring this up because very similar to trapeze, I knew consciously I'm not going to die. I probably won't even really get hurt. There's a net down there. It's not that big of a deal. However, my body's visceral response from being at the edge of a platform 40 feet in the air is that my body started trembling. It started shaking. I started to almost like hyperventilate. So I needed to consciously take deep breaths. I needed to focus on a focal point, not look down. I needed to tell myself I am safe. I needed to focus on feeling my feet. I needed to tell myself I want to do this. I signed up for this. I want to become the person who can sit or stand with this fear in my body and do it anyway. There is something so powerful about the ability to feel an emotion the full way in your body to the point where it almost feels overwhelming and you are able to move through it. The person you become on the other side of it is incredible. And I say this to say, I have now booked speaking gigs anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000. And every time I have three phases of anxiety. The first phase is the pre talk phase, right? It's usually 24 hours before. I'm picking out my outfit, I'm making sure I have everything. My brain freaks out and tells me I should have more handouts, I should have more decor, like more. Like I should have bought more food. Like it really wants me to solve my anxiety by like buying more things. It's a very interesting pattern that my brain likes to use. And so the day before, I'm freaking out thinking of like all the things I should have done ahead of time for my talk that I didn't do. And my brain loves to freak out and tell me I'm not prepared. And it just yells at me for like 24 hours beforehand. Then I get to the day of the talk. I wake up with that like subtle anxiety. And then you have your pre walking on stage anxiety where you're just like a little shaky, but you're a little bit hyped. Then I go into the talk. I feel like I nail it. I'm connected. I'm amazing. Like I love it. I feel like super amazing when I'm doing the talk and I feel like I'm nailing it. They love me. Then, as soon as the talk's over, I'm like still on this energetic high. I'm like, that was amazing. I'm pumped up. But then usually I go back to like either an empty hotel room or I like get in my car and drive home. And then I go to my empty house. I take my hair and makeup out. Like I put on my sweatpants and my shorts, like my house clothes. And then I'm just like, well, that's weird. I was just like on stage being hype girl. And now I'm just like here and my cat just threw up on the floor. Like it's such a weird contrast. And then as soon as I come back to that like quiet space of just being Cammy, not like stage Cammy, my brain freaks out again. And it's like, see, you should have done that. Remember that person? They had their arms crossed. Remember when you said that thing? That was a dumb joke. They didn't laugh. And my brain was just like chitter chatter for at least another 24 hours. That hour, that day after I speak, is that feeling of vulnerability hangover. And sometimes my brain will even say, I'm never doing that again. It was so painful. I can't do it again. And this happened when I did a lot of retreats. Like I built out a couple of different programs for different companies, for leadership teams, for government. And it's all of the things I never did before. So it was like the first time I had to put it all together. I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't sure. And then afterwards, I was just like, I don't even think that was right. Like my brain went to town, right? And sometimes you will listen to your brain. And in that first time where I did all those retreats, all those speaking, because I was creating so many of them, I was just like literally making it up because that's what we have to do, right? We have to take a blank sheet of paper, put something on it, and then deliver it. And I did that so many times where I was just like, I don't think I can do this anymore. It's too painful. I can't do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. And there was a short season of time, maybe 6 months, where I like shut myself down from receiving any more speaking gigs because that pain of the vulnerability and the pain of my brain just yelling at me afterwards was too much. But here's what I want you to hear. This is just part of the process. So when you realize I can go out and make 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K per month, I wonder if you would be open to expanding your capacity to feel vulnerability hangover, expanding your capacity to feel imposter syndrome. Because in my experience of building a six-figure business, of getting handed a check of $10,000, $14,000, $20,000, well, a digital check, right? Like sometimes it was a physical check, sometimes it was digitally put into my bank account. And me seeing the fact that I got paid $20,000 for a retreat, the imposter syndrome was like, what? It was like just a few years ago, you were making $40,000 a year as an inside sales rep, right? Like it was yelling at me. And I made $20,000 for 2 days. But what I know to be true is the willingness to feel the feeling in your body of imposter syndrome, of the vulnerability, of just like letting your brain talk, not getting attached to the thoughts, and truly committing to self compassion. A lot of people will say we need to get rid of the fear, we need to get rid of the imposter syndrome. I don't agree that's true. Just like I don't know people that can go up on a 40-foot ledge and not feel fear in the body. It is a physiological, biological response of millions of years of evolution of our ancestors who fell off of cliffs and died. And the ones who didn't fall off of cliffs, natural selection means that they were the ones that were afraid of going to the edge of the cliff. And because they didn't go to the edge of the cliff, it means they didn't die, which means they were able to pass on their genetics to us, their offspring. So therefore, we have the genetic trait where we are afraid of heights. It is natural, it is normal. So if you're thinking about writing a book, public speaking, launching a program, starting a business, what if you just decided the physiological, normal, biological response is I will feel fear. I will feel imposter syndrome. Then I will feel vulnerability hangover for a few days, maybe a few months. When I wrote my book, it was like months that I was like, what am I doing? I felt that way about my book for so long, where I'm like, who am I to write a book? But the difference is I wrote the book. Most people will get hung up in the imposter syndrome, get hung up in the vulnerability and the pain. Like when I talk about writing that first book, it was painful. It was like birthing something. But the difference is I'm on the other side of it. I decided to do it anyway. So, what I want to ask you is what is the thing that you really want to do, but you have those blocks in the way? Is it a book? Is it a podcast? Is it speaking? Is it a course? Is it a business? What is the thing that you would do, but you're feeling the fear, you're feeling the resistance, you're feeling the tingling in your body where you're like, ooh, I don't want to do this. Let's have a conversation about that. Because when we can get you through that, you can truly have anything that you want. So here's what I want you to do. Reach out to me right now today. Book a free consultation. Go to camikennedy.vip. Book a consultation for one-on-one coaching. And if you're watching this in real time, it's June 24th, 2025. We also have an enrollment coming up for my 8-week mini mastermind called Abundant Business Mastermind. If you would like more information on that, then you could also book a consult with me and I will let you know what that looks like. But let's go. When you expand your capacity for feeling uncomfortable feelings, you expand your bank account. I'll talk to you soon.